Awesome. So you guys just broke down the insane power of the subconscious mind, how to massively influence to create the huge impact you want to have in your life through your best thoughts, your best subconscious manifestations, and subsequently your best plans of action to achieve your overarching long-term goal. Super powerful content, super important concept, and I'm so glad you guys got that down. So now that you've got that, we're going to look at the brain, and we're going to look at it as the broadcasting station to receive and distribute, and how you can use it immediately to fundamentally shift the way that your brain sends out waves and then brings waves back. Remember, the brain is sort of the foundation of elevating that energy state, especially of thoughts, which are the most powerful energy state, and then bringing them back down into a reality. That's what we're going to focus on today. This is some pretty freaking deep stuff. Hale went out hard to get the materials needed to study for this chapter. It's very impressive. So grab your notes, get your drinks, whatever you need to do. Today is the day. We're going to break it down. You're going to go absolutely berserk. I read this chapter the first time I read it, I thought it was straight crazy. After reading it so many times over, it's fundamentally shifted how I think about everything that comes across my consciousness, and it's allowed me to get into that deeper state of meditation, right? Where in meditation, you're trying to clear those thoughts out of your mind. This makes it so much easier and allows you to take control of your mind. It's if you are that broadcasting station, and you can use it as fuel, because all of a sudden, you know exactly how to remove that excess noise from your head. So with that said, let's get right into it. Let's go over to the computer and let's make it happen. Awesome. Okay, so here's the deal. In a study with Dr. Alexander Graham Bell and Dr. Elmer R. Gates, it's concluded that every human brain is both a broadcasting and a receiving station. So you can be both of these, right? It's totally up to you. And remember, we talked about this earlier with goals and with self-actualization and with auto-fulfillment and all these ideas that if you think it, it becomes reality. Anything you want to do, you can make it happen. So there's just a mental barrier between you becoming a broadcaster versus where most people are, which is a receiver. Through the medium of the ether, in a fashion similar to that employed by radio, TV, etc., every human brain is capable of picking up vibrations given out by other brains. This is really the power of the mastermind, like we talked about earlier, where you as an individual are receiving the influence of those around you. And this is the idea, the principle behind you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, because those 5 people, whether intentional or not, are actually subconsciously using their brains to elevate their thought waves, right? And that's going to you, going to you, going to you. So you'll become who you spend the most time around, right? And that's the same idea here. You want to learn to filter out the stuff you're receiving and understand how to maximize what you can put out in the marketplace as a broadcaster and use that as fuel to get rid of bad influences and keep the good influences in your life, and then grow those good influences to more and more and more supporters, using the mastermind principle to surround yourself with the most successful people and beings possible. Very important concept. Gotta make sure, pick up the right vibrations. This is the whole principle behind, you guessed it, good vibes. Good vibes sounds fun to say. It's a cool little slogan. Good vibes can fundamentally shift your entire life because they'll alter your state of thought. And like we talked about earlier, your state of thought is a direct leader to your actions as proceeding through the process of going from thought to subconscious influence to the infinite intelligence, back to your subconscious, back to your conscious, and then appearing in an impulse to an actionable plan to get to your overarching long-term goal. And that action and that plan and that result and the value that that result brings into the marketplace and the subsequent cash value of that result is all based on the thoughts that you feed yourself. It's all based on what you put inside your head. So if you feed yourself with good vibes, just like if you feed yourself with a bunch of protein, you're gonna have a swole muscle, a swole mind. You're gonna have the best quality ideas, the best quality plans to create whatever you want in life based on your secret formula. All right, sounds sweet. Also remember that this receiving set in your brain, this receiving set is also the creative imagination, right? So because this is the creative imagination, everything that you feed into it is influencing your subconscious, and therefore it's going to change your creative imagination, right? So when you receive thoughts, they influence your creative imagination. And the agency of communication between your consciousness, reasoning, your mind, right, and the 4 sources of infinite intelligence, it's all based on the change in vibration in your brain right here as you take in, if you receive thought, and then they process through your creative imagination, and then that directly affects exactly what you broadcast out into the world, right? Like, you are what you take in. So if you take in success training like this, what you're gonna broadcast out into the world is gonna be success like this, right? It's not gonna be, you know, versus listening to rap about, oh my gosh, I know so many people that listen to these terrible rap songs. And please, if you listen to stuff like this, you need to stop this. This is a bad influence on your subconscious. This can't happen. All right, the lyrics, the world sucks, police, you know, oh my, I haven't listened to it because I don't listen to this stuff. But like, think about all those songs you hear where it's like people cursing out and being angry and upset. And I'm not trying to diss on rap, but it's like a vast majority of that negative music comes from that, you know, type of music. At least from what I've seen, you know, it's negative stuff. And if you listen to rap and it's like positive, like, that's cool, all right? No hate against that. But negativity from music is just like somebody influencing your life. And if that's bad, and that comes to you and is bad, then it can manifest itself in your creative imagination, and it can stop you from achieving your overarching long-term goal by creating bad signals coming out of your body, bad signals in your life. So you got to cut off negativity, and one of the biggest ways that a lot of people have negativity is negativity through music. So please, we've either talked about this before, and how music in general, or have we talked about it? We talked about this in a different course, but I'll go over it again, because it's an important concept. You guys know the idea of a state change, right? And the idea that you can increase your conscious awareness and excitement through a state change using music, right? Now here's the really interesting thing that I kind of learned a while ago, is this idea that a state change using music takes about, you know, one song. So one or two songs. So if you need to pump yourself up, you know, this is a very valid thing to do, right? Because if it would originally take you maybe half an hour to, you know, get excited and get pumped and get ready to do something, and you can compress that time into just a couple of minutes in one song, or one or two songs, like one song, right? And have that same result and have that same change in state, all of a sudden you're saving all this time over here that would otherwise just be wasted, and now you're actually using that in a compressed period of time so that you can spend the rest of your time doing whatever it is you actually need to do. So that's the power of a state change, right? Now here's the deal. If you're listening to music for this entire time, which a lot of people do, right? They'll listen to music for hours and hours and hours and hours. And if that's your huge passion and that's what's gonna get you to your secret formula goal, that's what's gonna get you to that long-term goal, then that's cool. But for a vast majority of people, listening to music is really just for pleasure, okay? And it's totally cool. Take your time for pleasure. Schedule your day however you want. But if you're just doing this and you don't know why, a lot of times you can take this time and better use it. Say you're driving to school or work or whatever. Maybe you're just like sitting around. Like, use this time to enrich your mind, right? Enrich your mind. I don't know how you want to do it. Enrich your mind. If it's possible, you know, maybe you're on a train or something, you're commuting, I don't know. Reading is like number one way, because you're getting someone's entire life in a book, and there's been so much effort and work put into it. This book is like 300 pages, and a guy spent 20 years writing it. That's still a pretty freaking sizable amount of time. To think that you're getting all that in such a compact means. A lot of people spend years of their lives writing books. Vast majority of books take years to write. At least good ones. So, or I mean, mine was a year, but you know what? Okay, reading, number one way to do it. Can't read, maybe you're driving, something like that. Podcasts are huge. Podcasts are created exclusively for you to grow, all right? Look up. I'll have some resources below, and I've shared with you guys some podcasts that I just absolutely love throughout these modules so far that I've used for entrepreneurial growth. And I obviously run like the Stock Market Secrets podcast, and I'll have that below. That's my podcast. It's all based on this idea that people are doing this exclusively for intelligence, right? So this is based, it's just like reading. You know, people write a book for a purpose. People start a podcast for a purpose. So for mine, it's like Stock Market Secrets podcast. The point of that is to understand better the underlying psychology of becoming an amazing trader and make a ton of bank in any financial industry. That's the fundamental basis behind everything I do there. All right, same thing. Some podcasts I listen to, they're like entrepreneurs podcasts, like how to become better at creating businesses. Like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Tony Robbins has podcasts. Everyone's got podcasts. Podcasts are a much better way to spend your time because you're learning stuff, right? So focus more on these things that are going to enrich your mind over music that's just like general happiness, right? I mean, general happiness is awesome, but you got to question, you know, what's going to get you to that long-term goal and give you long-term success. You got to figure out a perfect thing for you and then focus on it. All right, if you can focus on it, all of a sudden now you can succeed at a much higher level and with much faster pace, because you're using your time 10 times, 100 times more efficiently, and you're getting that excess time back. You can use it to actually grow and grow and grow. So you're on a faster trajectory, you're on a faster path than if you were maybe wasting. For me, I used to listen to music on the way to school, on the way home, and then when I was at work, I'd listen to music there. On the way back, I listen to music all the time in between places. Now, I'm not saying music's bad, right? I use music all the time when I'm writing, when I'm publishing, when I'm working, when it's just homework, I guess, but just general work, trading. Always listen to music, or a vast majority of the time, right? It pumps me up, gets me going. I love it. It's awesome. And if it does that for you, use it as a tool. But don't use it in those intermediary terms where you're not doing anything. I'll only use music when I'm doing something to pump it up and increase efficiency. And I wrote a paper about this, wrote a little article about this. And I guess I can link that below. But it's the same idea that you can use music to pump you up and keep growing and increase your marketplace output, but it's not necessarily a form of pure entertainment. So if I have an hour, or if I have that, commute, right? I'm gonna listen to podcasts during that commute. I'm not gonna listen to music, because I know if I listen to music, I'm gonna have a growth curve that's just a little bit slower, maybe even a massive amount slower, because this amount of information, this is just a gap of knowledge. Remember, if you get new knowledge and it's like seriously just like you driving places and that's giving you knowledge, bam, right? You can apply that knowledge and turn it into experience and get results in the marketplace from it. This is also why I'm so happy about Uber and drivers and rideshare systems, because what's so cool today is that you can bypass this altogether and you can get an Uber for a very nominal fee. A lot of times it's cheaper to have Uber places than owning a car, depending on how much you drive, which is really cool. Honestly, guys, Kevin O'Leary did this thing and he was talking about how it's cheaper for a vast majority of people to use Uber than own cars. I thought that was freaking crazy, because here's the power of an Uber, right? Or a Lyft, whatever. Their stocks are actually going crazy today, but I don't know when you're watching this, so maybe there's a new ride sharing thing. Hopefully it's decentralized on blockchain. That would be pretty cool. I've seen a lot of stuff. People are trying to decentralize Uber, which is cool. I don't know. They don't make a lot of money right now, but it's because they're crazy management. So you get an Uber, right? And you can sit in the back seat or the front seat, whatever. But now you just created, hours out of your day. If you drive a lot, or maybe if you commute or something, and you can sit in the back of this car here and you could work. If you can work in a car, I can't really work in a car very well. You can take calls in a car, super easy. You're getting stuff done. You're using your time to make a ridiculously large amount of money or create a ridiculously large amount of value while you pay this Uber driver just a little bit. Now think about that. Think about the value of your time and ask yourself, is the value of my time greater than or less than that of an Uber driver? And if the answer is greater than, then you're lying to yourself if you don't get in an Uber all the time and use that newfound time as a way to freaking eat. If you eat place to place, now you're able to act more efficiently when you get there. Use it to make calls, close deals, make bank. That's a fundamentally powerful example of using it instantly. Use it to read, right? Reading is so much more powerful than podcasts. It's just straight facts. People spend more time on writing a book than they'll spend on a podcast. Usually just record the podcast and that's that. If I tried to do that for a book, oh my gosh, it just doesn't happen, right? So you can use this time to have a much more effective learning by reading, because reading is a much more powerful way to learn. You can use this time to freaking meditate, read your goals, do any kind of work that you want, create more value in the marketplace, or invest in yourself in a way that you wouldn't be able to do before. It's all based on this individual ability to use the plans that your subconscious gives you and apply them towards your goal and grow rich using the thoughts that you've originally fed your mind. That's the power of using growth. That's the power of podcast. That's the power of education. That's the power of leveraging others to maximize the highest and best use of your time. Very powerful concept. I'll link a ton of those resources below. And hopefully you can use this strategy to get through some of the books that I've suggested to you guys, because those will change your life. They're amazing. And it'll just massively multiply the impact that you get from this course. That said, I'm going to boop this away. And now we're going to look at stepping up. Now here's the deal. Your brain, right? We talked about this. Your brain is the process. The brain is what takes energy and thought and it steps it up in energy, plus energy. And it transmutes it into the ether, right? It puts it out into the world. This is you being a broadcaster, right? This is broadcast, and you just got to increase your energy to do that, right? And the way you do this, how do you do this? Well, let me tell you exactly how you do this. There's one freaking way to do this. Positive emotions are what allow your brain to increase its energy, and by increasing energy, you have your thoughts manifest themselves into the ether, and the vibrations are dramatically increased. But get this stepping up process also takes place for negative emotions. Now you might think that's surprising, but here's the thing. Negative emotions and positive emotions. Negative. One of these is really good for you. one of these is really bad for you. When you use negative emotions to increase the energy, you're looking at the different kinds of thoughts that are elevated and that are transmuted. Because here's the deal. Vibrations of exceedingly high rate are the only vibrations picked up and carried by the ether from one brain to another. Thought is energy traveling at an exceedingly high rate of vibration. And thought which has been stepped up by any major emotions vibrates much higher rate than ordinary thought. This type of thought passes from one brain to another through the process of broadcasting in the human brain. Now get this, right? You got two different pairs of people. In the first pair of people, they have positive emotions, right? And the second pair of people, they have negative emotions, okay? Now, both of these people can increase the energy of their thoughts by using their emotions, because no matter what emotions you use, emotions will increase the vibrations of your thought. And this is why it's important when you're meditating to go into it with a positive state of mind. If you have negative state of mind coming in, it's going to increase the negative emotions that come out when you start meditating, and the negativity of plans that comes out when you start to meditate. You start to feel bad, start to not get the things that you need to achieve your overarching long-term goal. That's what you get when you focus on negativity. Similarly, if you focus on negativity in a conversation, it's going to transmute negative thoughts to each other, right? So if you're talking with someone and you're just super angry, or both are angry, or using the emotions of negativity, it's going to decrease the state of both of you. It's going to decrease your energy, it's going to decrease your motivation, it's going to drag you down and further away from wealth, further away from your overarching long-term goal. Because this energy is affecting your thoughts, it's affecting your subconscious, and it's thereby affecting your infinite intelligence and limiting you. This is why a lot of people have limiting beliefs. It comes from a bad history of beliefs, of negative energy. I guarantee you, there are tons of people that could definitely change their lives if they read 9 to Noon and they just got themselves a copy of 9 to Noon. And for a fact, there are people that saw the sales page for 9 to Noon, or they saw the Amazon page for 9 to Noon, and they didn't buy because they said, oh, I had this bad experience in the stock market before, or I heard this bad thing about the stock market on TV, or my family said this bad thing about the stock market, or investing is dangerous, you lose all your money. So many objections I've heard. I don't have enough money to start. There's no way I can do that. Only rich people do that. That's the one that kills me, because if you want to be rich, you freaking copy rich people. And people say they want to be rich, but they don't copy rich people. I think that's insane. Anyway, that's where limiting beliefs come from. So on the contrary, when you have positive emotions that increase the state of your energy, this is basically where masterminds come from. This is where people come together and they transmute amazing thought that have tremendous marketplace value and at just insane levels of growth and communication between two or more people through the power of this mastermind between them, this positive mastermind between them. All of a sudden, this leads to new ideas, massive breakthroughs, and ultimately success, right? Masterminds have had the biggest impact on me out of any kind of reading, of training, of education I've ever gone through in my life, because you have that connection and you can use the power of the mastermind to leverage others, leverage yourself, and grow as a collective group to solve problems as a team and absolutely crush it. I'll give you guys a great example and then I'll move on to the next concept. You guys know Russell Brunson and you've seen the books. I'll leave the book reviews below, and he's an integral part of a vast majority of the marketing things I do, and it's taught in the PWA program. So I don't know if you guys have seen that one yet. Partner with Anthony, partner, if I can spell it right. But I'll have those resources and those links below. Those are very powerful ways to start an online business and just freaking absolutely crush it. Ever since taking that course, that course has fundamentally shifted everything I know about online marketing, growth, business development, and it'll pay dividends for the rest of my life. I'm so proud of it, and so I can't recommend it enough. I'll have my review video below. It's dirt cheap, like holy crap, it's insane. It's just crazy. So Russell Brunson, right? He has this mastermind he does, and it's 25 grand to get in, and he only has 100 spots. So you got 100 people, and what he does is he breaks up these 100 people into 3 groups of 33 people, and then one guy, obviously 34. And then they'll come together and they'll break apart, and they'll come together and they'll break apart, and they all come together for their mastermind meeting, right? And sometimes it's physical, right? They'll have physical meetings, and other times they digitally connect to Russell and other people through like a voice messaging app, right? So they connect each other and they have this huge mastermind. You gotta understand, this is 100 people who are all dedicated. They put up 25 grand for their success, right? That's huge. That's a big commitment. And what happened is Russell, he's done this mastermind for years and he's continuing to do it, and it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. in success, right? It's always 100 people. And at the beginning, everyone was just starting out. Everybody was new, right? And what happened is in this mastermind, there were a couple of people that were successful already, but very few. And then they started to have, success. And success for him, for this program, is that they made $10 million, right? Well, I guess he's got a lot of different coaching programs. But success, basically, they made a bunch of money, okay? They made a lot of money. They turned their thoughts into marketplace results through plans, actions, goals, all that amazing stuff. After one person has success, all of a sudden more people start having success, And then what's freaking crazy is at a certain point, every single person, I'm pretty sure this is right to my knowledge, this is what I heard, and this is what he said, and yeah. Every single person in this group became a millionaire. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that strange? That if you have a couple people successful and they're sharing their ways they were successful and they tell you their strategies and they tell you what to do and you copy what the successful people are doing, all of a sudden you can become successful too? Isn't that interesting? That's the power of a mastermind, right? That's the power of high energy translations and transmutation from mind to mind using positive emotions. Everybody here was always positive. You know why? Because they're paying freaking 25 grand to be here. You bet they're going to be positive. You're not going to have people that are jerks here. They can't afford to be here because they're not successful. You're going to learn pretty quickly mean people are generally the least successful. They don't attract positivity in their life. You're not going to attract success. You're not going to attract plans and ideas that are going to get you closer and closer to your overarching long-term goal. We've talked about this in so many modules, but that negative energy is not sustainable. That negative energy won't get you where you need to go. It just won't happen. When does the villain win in a movie, It's always the positive energy that pulls through. That's the power, positivity. So one person becomes a millionaire, another person becomes a millionaire, another person becomes a millionaire. Everybody eventually becomes a millionaire because they were in the right environment, because they were surrounded by people that were millionaires. If you surround yourself with millionaires and your bank account has $400 in it, do you think you're gonna change some of your mindsets? Do you think listening to them talk about how they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars through currency exchange rates on their massive company is going to fundamentally shift how you think about spending $4 on coffee? Yeah, you bet it is. Because they're positively impacting you through the mastermind principle. This is so powerful. And this is why having a mentor, having a coach, having a teacher that really does it, and having someone guide you through it and partner with you, so ridiculously powerful. It'll change your life. It's insane. It's insane. Because now you're on the same game playing. You're on the same field. You're together. And even though one person might be more successful, you're still standing side by side, and they're helping you, you're helping them. You're growing and growing and growing. And you might think, well, this sounds stupid. Like if I have no money and I'm trying to learn from people that are massively successful, guys, get over that. That's a limiting belief. That's BS. I work with some people and I have some very fortunate to have some great mentors, and a ton of them are just insanely successful. They've sold businesses for a lot of money, guys, a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes billions. It's crazy. It just depends on how you look at it with inflation, because they're usually pretty older than me. And I'll be sitting with them, and a lot of them trade because they're in the stock market, right? And they have just huge freaking insane portfolios, and they're moving around so much money. And this is like this mastermind we're in, where a lot of them are older and they don't know like the technical analysis stuff, because technical analysis is fairly new, right? And so I'll be here, I'll ball out who's not freaking insanely wealthy, and what happens, right? So I come in and I'm just doing my thing, trading 9 to noon, and these guys they're usually trading bigger stocks. Sometimes they're investing long-term, swing trading. They all have different styles, totally cool stuff, right? But when they have different styles, what happens is I learn from them. And then I also learn about their business history, because most of these guys, they're ridiculously wealthy because of their business history, right? So they all built insane businesses and then sold them for ridiculous amounts of money. And now they just trade stock markets, usually 9 to noon, sometimes outside that time frame, because they just need like an income, right? Because if you take your assets and you turn your assets into an income, then you're living for free. And that's pretty powerful. So they'll use basically the stock market to have an income. And then they see me trading 9 to noon, and they're like looking at all the technical analysis stuff I'm doing and all the stuff that you guys have at your fingertips in 9 to noon, right? Like I can be your digital mentor. Just read that freaking book and apply it. It'll change your life. And what happens is these guys are freaking crazy cool, dude. And it changes my mindset. It changes my beliefs about money, about companies, about publicity, about like so much, because these guys have just had massive, massive success. They built these insane companies. They've like had impact on so many people. And it's just amazing because it's in-person real learning. That's powerful. You're learning from people that are freaking crushing it, that have gotten there, feel it. And at the same time, these guys are like telling me, like Like they're saying like, oh, I'm so glad to be around you. I'm so glad that I can spend time with you. I'm learning so much for you. This is so valuable. When I show them all this technical and the trading stuff. And it's insane because like I've gotten to this point where I'm very, very good at the stock market, and I've published 9 to noon. And like these guys use these strategies to make insane amounts of money because they're so powerful and they're scalable, right? Trading 9 to noon is ridiculously scalable. And especially if you apply it to swing trading, there's basically no limit on your income. There's no cap on what you can do. And so these guys are applying it, and I'm personally coaching them through a lot of the concepts since they're older. The book is, my target demographic, about 15 to 35 year olds, because you got to know how to read a freaking chart. And these guys are just like using there's they're using just this old outdated platforms and trading softwares, which is totally okay because they make a bunch of money from it, but it's not, you know, as streamlined. So I have to kind of walk them through some of the trades sometimes and pull it up on, you know, Thinkorswim, stuff like that, which we talk about over in the Gemma membership area, just because like they're not as fast with technology, right? Just because they're older and they've freaking made $100 million, billion-dollar businesses, they get the excuse of not being fast at technology because they hired people that were good at technology, and that's totally cool. That's totally cool. But now they want to learn this skill set on how to make a bunch of bank with the bank they have, which is totally cool. Totally cool. So point here, surround yourself with positivity and understand that even if you don't see it in yourself, there's some aspect you can acquire. There's some aspect you can focus on. There's some aspect that you bring to the marketplace that you're better than 99% of people with. Think about what you're better than 99% of people at. And a really great book to help you do this and to help you actually turn this knowledge into money is Expert Secrets. Expert Secrets, freaking, I wish I found this book a long time ago, and it's just kind of naturally, the principles in it naturally came into my life. And then after I read it, there are so many applicable strategies in it that they built on like the basic foundation blocks of it. And I mean, you're here watching this video because I read this book and applied what was in it. Like there's no other way I would be here. This book changed my life. So I highly recommend you check out the book review of that below and watch and grab that book. If you have any kind of basis, there's actually a video. It's not like a traditional book, right? So you can actually get a free copy, and there's a video that'll tell you more about it when you click to get the book, and it's insane, ridiculous. So watch the book review, watch that video, and go to that page and check it out, because that book seriously is the key to so many people, especially when they're starting out, to make a ridiculous amount of money. It's insane. And it goes hand in hand with this Partner with Anthony program. These two go right with each other. This is like finding yourself and doing it, and this is perfecting the long-term business strategy. And obviously there's the other book, .com Secrets, and then he's doing another one, .com Secrets. So I'll have like this one, and then Traffic Secrets, then Traffic Secrets. All these 3 books, freaking amazing. These are the keys to just creating tremendous success and instantly skyrocketing your income through an online business. This is the baseline for it, and then these are the 3 books that will fundamentally shift everything you know. They've changed my life so much, and it's why people pay this guy $25,000 to join his mastermind every year, and they don't freaking leave, man, because they get so much value from it. Changes their lives, and that's the power. That's what you want to have. That's the impact that comes from a mastermind. That's the change that you can have in your life. It's really powerful. It's cool stuff. So with that said, let's move on. All those resources will be below. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna understand, you know, you got the stepping up part. You know that thought is passed from one brain to another, broadcasted. And as far as intensity and driving force are going, we're gonna focus now on sex transmutation, and then the impact of sex transmutation on increasing your mind's energy, and how that impact will fundamentally shift everything you do, and how you can use that to create tremendous levels of impact and success in your life. Sound cool? Sound awesome? All right, sick. Let's get into it. So as far as intensity and driving force are concerned, the emotion of sex is the most powerful human emotion. You guys know this. Sex is power emotion. It's just huge. It's just the biggest emotion, right? So because it has the biggest impact, here's the deal. Biggest impact emotionally means biggest stimulation of the brain, means biggest change of vibration. So a brain stimulated by the emotions of sex vibrates at a much more rapid rate than it does when that emotion is absent. Sad guy down here. When you can increase your vibrations, you can increase your thoughts, you can increase your infinite intelligence, you can increase your mental growth, and you can therefore get to your long-term goal. So, as we talked about in the sex transmutation chapter, sex is important. Let's see what's next. The result of sex transmutation, when the brain is vibrating at a rapid pace, all of a sudden it can become receptive to ideas it picks up from the ether. So traditionally, in a low vibration state, you might not be able to pick up signals, ideas, thoughts in the ether. But when you increase your vibrations, all of a sudden, these thoughts, these ideas, these breakthroughs that are just sitting in the ether, breakthroughs, they transmute to you. They come to you, they enter your mind through the subconscious. And you will attract thoughts and ideas released by other brains, and also release your own feeling and thought, which are essential for picking up the right things and filtering out the bad ones. And they act upon the subconscious mind based on what you put out. So if you're putting out positivity, you're putting out good vibes, that's what you're going to take in. That's what you're going to learn from. That's what you're going to grow from and attract in the world, which is powerful, powerful stuff. All right? You can see broadcasting principle is the factor through which you mix feeling or emotion with thoughts and pass them. Here's the thing, emotion plus thoughts to the subconscious mind. That's the change you can have. That's the power from it, because the subconscious mind is the sending station of the brain where vibrations are broadcast. So if you want to become a broadcaster, all you have to do is master increasing those vibrations, and now you're going to be sending out messages that connect instantly to the creative imagination, because the creative imagination is the receiving set through which these vibrations are picked up in the ether. Do you have these important factors in your subconscious mind and the creative imagination? Understand now the insane power of the principle of autosuggestion, because this is where everything comes from. It's this idea that what you put out comes back to you. So if you put out that you're gonna run a marathon, guess what comes back to you? You're gonna run a marathon. And then what happens? Marathon. Maybe you pick up a book like The 4-Hour Body. There's actually a really freaking insane chapter where it's like how to run a marathon with minimal training and never running, and like it's insane. It's so cool. Highly recommend if you're into like being physically fit and having a healthy lifestyle. The 4-Hour Body is ridiculous. It'll change your life. It's changed my dad's life. He's lost like 10 pounds in 2 weeks, which is freaking crazy. And he just started a couple weeks ago. So maybe I'll comment below this video with an update. I don't know. But that book's awesome. That book's ridiculously cool. I wish I had it 4 years ago because it would have changed my life. But I found another way to do it. Just kept pushing through diet and exercise, and you can make it work either way. This is just kind of like a shortcut, and it's a very powerful shortcut. There's a lot of great case studies about people that just do one simple thing in there. He calls it the slow carb diet. The slow carb diet, basically, you only eat like protein and beans, but then you can also have like spinach and peas and like any kind of protein basically, and all you do is eat that, except you eat it 6 days a week, and then on that last day, which is usually Saturday, for me it's Saturday, it's called a cheat day, which is interesting because what I did before I found out about this diet, which I'm now following and I've been doing for about a couple months now, is I was super upset. Like, sugar's terrible for you. It's just insanely bad for you. I talk about it over in the general membership area, and honestly I probably talk about this book over in the general membership area, so you might already have it, but sugar's just terrible for you. It's so bad, so bad. And what this does is so crazy, because I vowed like I was never gonna eat sugar, except then I found this book, and it said on 1 day a week, 1 day is cheat day, and on cheat day you can do whatever the freak you want, so you can have whatever you want, because remember, you're basically you're not eating white carbohydrates during this, so cutting like bread, pasta, stuff like that. And for the full list of ingredients, I don't know, maybe you can Google slow carb diet, but honestly just grab this book, because this is only like 5% of the insanity that's in this, and this 5% can have an impact on you. 95% of the impact from this book can come from this little tiny 5%. It's just crazy cool. There's a whole chapter about it, and this is the basis. This could freaking change your life. It's so powerful. If you want to lose weight, if you want to get six-pack abs, everything he talks about is the basis of like increasing muscle, decreasing body fat, and he shows how decreasing body fat actually is what gets you those six-pack. It's so cool, so cool. So yeah, definitely recommend you guys check that out. I'll have the book review below. It's super powerful. So anyway, I was using that, and now I get to eat sugar all the time, which makes me super excited and happy, and that's freaking awesome. You know why that's awesome? Is because I put out my thoughts and I said I'm going to have six-pack abs, and so I found ways to create six-pack abs by using my subconscious to create plans to make it happen. Now these plans that I made, they were before I actually figured out about this book, so I had to use the hard way of working out once a day, every day, and just never eating sugar and dieting. And that worked insanely well. It changed my life. Lost 50 pounds. Never would change that. It's built muscle. Building muscle is super important. That's why there's another thing he talks about with kettlebells, where basically you just do, like, if you look up 4-hour body, kettlebell swings, and learn how to do it, because there's a very specific way to do it. You do it like twice a week for like 5 minutes, and it's really great for activating like muscles and growth. And there's some pictures he shows, and it's super cool because you can have a massive impact on your body with very minimal effort. He calls it minimal effective dosage, right? So the minimal effective dosage you need to have the results that you want in your body and your life. And that's actually what he talks about too in the 4-hour body, which is pretty freaking cool. So definitely, not the 4-hour body, the 4-hour work week, my bad. So yeah, those are both like really insane books. I would definitely watch those review videos and snag your copies because they're amazing. All right, sound cool? You guys excited? You guys pumped? That's awesome. That's super amazing. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna look at the operation of your mental broad. So here's the deal. You got your head's broadcasting, you're sending out signals, and that's super cool. That's just awesome, okay? You've increased your energy, you've used your desire to transmute its monetary equivalent by following the secret formula. And now you can understand there are 3 for broadcasting, right? And remember, broadcasting, how you're gonna have the biggest impact on the world, gonna be the #1 way to instantly create subconscious and manifested plans of growth through the power of manifestation magic, right? The subconscious mind, bam, the subconscious mind. That's huge, right? Every part of broadcasting comes down to what you feed yourself, how you shape your subconscious mind, right? Does that make sense? That's the basis of everything here. And then next, we have creative imagination. Now remember, with creative imagination, this is a product of the subconscious mind reaching into the infinite intelligence and collecting these insane ideas for you to use, and then transmuting them into thoughts and quick impulses that you have to grab and instantly write down, or they'll disappear into the ether. Because you have to be in an extremely high energy state to have these impulses, to have these creative insights, these imaginations. And once you have it, you want to grab it, turn it into a reality by putting the pen to the paper and writing it down. And then, of course, the biggest one that we just talked about and that you'll keep learning about is the principle of autosuggestion. This is why it works. The stimuli through which you put these principles into action all begin with desire. And if you have desire for anything here, if you have a desire to succeed, desire that comes from your secret formula, it's gonna fuel all of these, all 3. These are gonna come with your secret formula, with your overarching goal. It's gonna fuel you to a new level of growth. Everything here will come through the secret formula. So understand it and appreciate it and maintain positive emotions to allow peak productivity and growth from this aspect of your mind. Put those ideas out there. This is especially powerful. Communicate with the team, right? Everyone needs to be on the same page to grow a project, to work through a problem. These thoughts that you're emanating are going to have a positive impact on the people around you, right? Because these are positive thoughts, positive plans for definite action. Bam, huge. All comes from this internal ability to get your mind in a broadcasting state by increasing its energy, primarily through sex transmutation. And then there are also the other ways to do it: manifestation magic, sound, music, all those resources below. You've seen them in the other videos. They're also a fundamental basis, and they're gonna skyrocket your success immediately. And then that's that transmutation. It's just a cherry on top. It's so good, guys. So with that said, let's move on to the greatest forces in our lives and how they're intangible. And then we'll look how you can apply that in your mentality, in your life, and use it to create massive impact and absolutely crush it, okay? Sound cool? Sound awesome? Sweet, let's get it going. So here's the deal. 1937, it was right after the 1929 stock market crash, where basically the world ended and everybody was crying for like 50 years, which freaking sucks, dude. Stock market went down 75%, something like that. Like the Dow at least. I mean, if you were in the market, you were not happy. And this is why now we talk about things like, and please don't take this as a norm, because this is not the norm anymore. It's a very, very extreme case. But this is why we focus on concepts and principles and stuff like Money Master the Game, where you can protect yourself against the downside with very, very minimal, very minimal time investment, like time management. And you can just buy like one thing, like we talked about, what's it called? Fixed index annuities, where you're locking in gains, you have no chance of losses, and you also get guaranteed income after you activate the annuity and activate the income stream. Similarly, and it's the same thing with structured notes, right? So you make an agreement with a bank, and all of a sudden, these guys will pay you, 90% of the upside with no downside, right? And that's freaking really cool. So that allows you to have no downside. And this is especially true for like market indices, which is where you'll see this mostly applied. And this is great if you want to have very, very minimal time investment in the marketplace. Maybe you're busy, maybe you're lazy, I don't know, but you don't want to trade 9 to noon. You don't even want to trade an hour a month to make a swing trade. That's totally cool. You can use these strategies that are discussed so much more in Money Master the Game, but at a very basic level, you're looking at fixed index annuities and structured notes. Now there's so much more than this, and like there's stuff like market linked CDs. Honestly, these are powerful too, market linked CDs, where you can get like 8% upside with no downside. And it's all based right on these institutions. They're basically just using call options and holding onto your cash like it's insurance. And they basically just take your money and invest it and make more money than you because they're smart smart, and not really they're smart, but like they're applying a little bit more active management to it, and they know what the heck they're doing because they understand the concepts and principles in 9 to noon. They apply them at a hedge fund level or an insurance fund level to manage your money for you, and then just guarantee that little bit of a return, which is marketplace return, which is powerful. It's good stuff. But you buy a call option, you put a little bit down, massive upside. You can also lose that money instantly, and that's why you don't get 100% of those gains, right? Is you're buying 90% up, 0% down, so you can have long-term growth. And this is powerful right at the end of your investing cycle. So if you guys have seen in like chapter 16 or 17 about index funds, like index funds might have crashes, but they keep going up and up and up and up over the long term, like in the 20-year horizon plus, right? You're basically not going to lose money. 10-year even, it's pretty tough to lose money over 10 years of time in the stock market. One of the only times you could do it was basically the Great Depression, and that was it. If you're investing exclusively in index funds with no diversification in other asset classes, right? I'm going to talk about this so much more in 9 to noon, which you guys should have in your hands. This book will change your life. Read it. Holy crap. And the Money Master of the Game is a great addition to that because this is some really powerful stuff. So if you're like 5 years from retirement, and like right now the market's pretty freaking hot while I'm recording this, I know a lot of people, they get close to retirement, so I'm recommending these kind of assets to them on the low key because I'm not a financial advisor yet. I don't know if I want to be a financial advisor because then they limit your trading and then you can't trade a day trade. You have to wait 30 days to exit a position. Like, what the heck, man? That's total BS. I'm not going to stop trading 9 to noon so that I can be a registered investment advisor. Like, that's dumb. But I also want to be able to like tell people like, hey, this is a really good thing to do. So I'm working my way around it. I'm trying my best. Hopefully, if you're watching this, it means I haven't been shut down by the government and they don't hate me. The SEC at least doesn't hate me, which is great. That makes me happy. Highly regulated industry for questionable reasons. But hey, you know what? Stock market crashed, and after the stock market crash, these guys decided, hey, you know what? We should regulate the securities industry, which, for better or worse, created the SEC and the PDT rule, which is stupid. So, with that said, yeah, so like if you're near retirement and you're worried that there's going to be a massive crash, you can just buy like one of these assets right here, and then you would have no downside and guaranteed upside. So you would only go up if the market went up, and you would have no downside if the market went down. So that's really cool. That's a good thing to do when you're nearing that retirement age, because you'll understand that like you're not going to have that long-term growth potential anymore since you're closer to your time horizon. And please understand that retirement's perspective, like you can live as long as you want. We're in an insane world where health technologies are skyrocketing. People are living so much longer and so much healthier life. Like number one cause of death is heart attacks, right? So if you live a healthy lifestyle, I personally plan to live to be 150 years old. And every single day when I read my overarching long-term goal statement, I tell myself I live to be 150 years old, and I know my exact death date. That's power. That's planning. That's growth. You can use your secret formula once you master it to include lifelong goals like that, and also short, medium-term goals to remind yourself on a daily basis of what you need to get done, using obviously the principles of the one thing to break down that overarching long-term goal into shorter-term goals. You can repeat those, and you can make additions to your secret formula, such as living to be 150 years old, because that's a goal, and I'm gonna make it happen. You bet your butt I'm gonna make it happen. Don't know how, but I know that my subconscious will enable me to do it by feeding me the plans that it draws out from the ether around me as I increase my peak energy state by surrounding myself with a mastermind of individuals that are of much higher energy and success and achievement than myself, to draw that in and facilitate that same growth, achievement, and success in my life in the respective industries and aspects that I desire a more intense and strong relationship and development with. That single sentence sums up pretty much the entire first half of this module and everything we just went through. That's power. That's growth. That is why this concept that you're learning about the brain that's not taught in school anywhere is based around decades of study will fundamentally change your life. So please take what you learned in this module, go out there, freaking apply it and crush it. Okay? I hope that sounds awesome, guys. I'll see you in the next module. I hope you got a ridiculous amount of value from this. Go out there, do your thing. You're gonna be amazing. Congratulations on making it this far. We're almost at the end. There's so much more value to come, so much value in the past. Make sure you're not going too quickly through this. It's not like there's a time limit, there's not a countdown. You have time to digest this. You have time to reflect on this. You have time to take notes. Do what you need to do. Follow the implementation step. Read all these documents that I've put around here, the videos that support these videos. Watch those. Get involved with these products, these books, everything here. It'll change your life. Take it step by step. Consume it, understand it, and apply it. Apply it to create that knowledge and wisdom. I recommend you do it right the first time, and you use that as fuel. Keep succeeding and keep achieving success throughout your life, because you're on a path where you start things and you do them 120% and you have the maximum impact that you can through them, and you achieve the highest and best result of your time, money, surrounding, relationships, and investment. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next module. Thanks.